proposed budget in their packet. It's just the worksheet.
That is, this one, correct?
Yes, that is correct. And there's notes on the sides of everything, of reason why we did the figures that are listed in the budget. Now today, I received an email from Washington County, and our assessment has dropped $341,000. That's not an actual figure of tax money that we're losing, that's just an assessment. So depending on if your house is under $50,000, it's X amount of dollars towards the taxes. So a lot of these people in this report here have had taxes reduced significantly.
Is there any in the industrial park like there were a couple of years ago? We had
Yes.
a couple of fleet on there.
Yes, there are.
And they were
Actually,
big ones.
I don't know what it's called now, there was the old sewing factory, they had theirs reduced recently. So
I'll give you a list of,
there's a list here of everything that was, yeah, I don't have that were dropped. So there are a few, so. But next year we are getting some additions down there. So Regal's putting a building in, TechNet's adding a building. So there's going to be some development down there that'll be better for. I don't know, I haven't heard anything recently.
Mark Kenny has another building this year.
They
bought-
purchased,
they
yeah, they
bought-
purchased one down by the dialysis center. I did see that, yeah, they did.
He had a massive
So-
renovation and purchased it.
Yes,
and
Mark
the
Henry.
call people were in today, and she said their business is booming. So.
yeah, that's good.
There's also a new business coming into town where the Elks was.
Yeah,
I
they
don't know
said,
if you guys knew.
yeah, is it a wood shop or something?
Wood shop.
Yeah.
Is that the cabinet shop? You know what?
Yes.
Someone from my town, my neighbor had walked in my door today and said, I'm looking for this address. This guy had a cabinet shop. And I said, well, what's the address? He goes, well, no. And I said, well, I don't know either because I haven't seen any activities.
Yes.
But so it's in the Elks.
Yep, that's good, at least that place will be taken care of now.
I have
Oh,
seen
He
it.
actually
okay.
purchased it?
Yep.
You know, he did purchase it.
It's already, it's done.
Yeah, he's from Ritchieville or something. He's
Yeah,
a
like down
cabinet.
Roscoe area, somewhere down there.
That's good.
So like I said, I had a guy come in that I knew from when I grew up in my neighborhood looking for him, so that's good to know.
Yep.
It's a cabinet shop.
Yes.
Specialty woodworking. I think he said like gingerbread on buildings, cabinets, all kinds of crazy stuff.
Yeah, we'll have
Nice
to
guy,
have-
nice guy.
We'll have to invite him.
Absolutely.
Anybody have any questions on the real estate taxes that we've proposed for this year?
The projection of right on the top, on real estate taxes, the
Mhm.
projections are 50,000 less for the 2019 budget. Could you highlight that, please?
Well, this is what Jason and I had come up with because it was what we got an actual figure of what Susan actually takes in. And with the drop in assessment, we had to reduce it because of everything that has changed over the past year. So
Okay,
we're
well-
not getting as many in. We've lost some houses, you know, with fires and condemned, and, you know, there was a few issues that were affecting the revenue for the taxes.
Well, I know, Terry, but $340,000, $41,000 wouldn't be 50,000 in projections. What other things have you used besides that? Houses that are like the one that was just destroyed the other day up on Sixth Street.
Well, the building we took down was in town this past year.
Okay.
And then there were some reductions down in the MITA plan, so we lost some tax money, revenue. Yeah, Elliott was a big one, so, yeah.
Yeah, that would be felt this year one.
Yes.
Did you, with all the department heads, Mikey and Jimmy and everything else, did you have a worksheet with them to discuss everything?
I went over some things, I actually printed Jimmy a budget sheet, and I gave Mike one as well. And we adjusted some figures in Jimmy's to kind of get it closer, so it's not looking as bad in the current budget that we have now.
Mhm.
So we kind of
Yeah, and
corrected some things, so the numbers are really off.
Just to say, whenever
So-
we took this over, I know the way the budget was done before, we wanted to get this year under your belt,
Mhm.
see exactly where money was being spent,
Mhm.
correct?
Yes.
And we did that this year?
I cannot answer that, to be honest with you, like I
No, no, no.
assist with.
With this new budget now,
Yes.
you knew where money was actually being spent from that last one. You could break it out and do different things with it?
Yes, like in the line items
Yes.
that we have, yes, this is specifically his department.
Yes,
So, yes.
that's what I want.
Yes.
So I noticed, like in the old, like the budget I'm looking at, the old budget, there was
Mhm.
money spent, it says minor equipment, major equipment, this
Correct.
equipment, that
Special,
equipment.
yes.
I see some ran over 120%, others are under to the
Correct.
50%. We broke those down, so now we know where money is actually going to be spent.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
That's what we wanted to
Yes,
do.
and
That's
we
good.
increased some figures where he was
Where
so
they-
far
yeah.
out off, with the numbers.
Well, what happened with that is the contract came in, so the numbers you originally put in the budget,
They weren't
they
included.
weren't, they were never
Yes.
nowhere near
Yes.
what they were gonna hit because you went to arbitration.
And there was-
you-
The
and
back
you lost.
pay, the back pay was
Right,
major.
and the back pay was in it. You said,
that was
but
in March.
part-time, they said, oh, part-time overtime guys are $20-some thousand over or 31,000. Well, that was the back pay you owed him because you got the contract awarded.
Yeah,
So
that's-
there was, those numbers that were put in the budget were so screwed up because of the contract.
They didn't figure those in.
No,
Those
they
we
didn't
can
figure any of that. They
understand,
didn't
those we
figure
can
any of that
understand
in.
every year.
No.
What bothered me is the first year that this council took place, and last
We
year.
didn't have anything to do with the budget, that budget.
That's right, so all those line items, we had no idea what they were. So
Right.
this is
They
coming
were
into
just
our
in there.
first full year of budget, we should know where some of this
Where the
money is
money is
actually
spent.
supposed to be.
Right.
Well, before, it was just kept getting sloshed onto the next year. Did
Yes.
we do that?
We corrected what I could
That's what-
find, because I
that's-
sat with Jimmy and I went over
That's
a
fine.
couple
If we
things
corrected as much
specifically.
as you could,
Yes.
we'll get more next year.
We came a lot
But right
closer,
there,
so he
just-
wasn't so off.
When we reviewed stuff, there was things that they were running way over on, and other things you never spent a dime out of. That's not a good budget.
No.
Yeah, they put $31,000 for some liability and you spent $1,000.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that $31,000 was
Right.
for.
It kept, the money was getting sloshed around. We've kind of corrected some of that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we have more truer figures.
And you talked to our department heads, and they had their wish list, and we found what we could, where we could,
Yes,
how we could?
That is correct, yes. I have a list of a worksheet that he provided to me that he needed, and we put those figures in under his equipment, things that he asked for.
Good.
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Do you see anything in here, or do any of you in council see anything in here that seems like we might have to pay more for this coming year? Just off the top of your head.
Well, your health insurance is going to be more this year.
Well,
Your
that's already
insurance-
factored in, though. I meant like something that isn't. Such as like last year, we had that contract coming in, we were going to use a law firm, that was going to be extra money. You guys see anything like that coming up? There was blaring things last time. There's nothing blaring this time. Everybody agree? If you have something to say it now.
I haven't had a chance to look at it that close.
I printed it in larger sheets, so it's easier to read this.
Yeah,
The
this
other
is
one was
fine.
a little.
This is a little more to do.
Yeah,
We
and,
upped it.
That's what I was
Yeah,
saying, there's
we
a lot of
upped it.
things,
Mhm.
like if you got it corrected, before it was just, you balance the budget,
Yeah.
you do whatever you have to do, you set in another fee, you do whatever it is to make it balance, but you never correct where this money went, so we did that this year.
We decreased, increased in areas.
Like I said,
Yep.
there's gonna be things you miss. I
Yeah.
mean, we're taking on a lot of responsibility of old budgets, but it's starting to get corrected this year, so,
Yes.
and that's what I'm seeing.
Yes.
I'm not,
Yep. No, I
and
totally
you're
get
not
it.
gonna catch them all, but if
No.
you start,
No.
we start now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't see anything glaring.
Yes.
At the end of the day, when it comes to the budget, I'm looking for glaring.
Right. Now, right now, our real estate taxes are at 5.262. And in order to balance this budget, we have to increase taxes. And especially with the recent drop in assessment that I just received today. Wasn't unexpected, so We need to figure out if we're going
If
to.
that is a true figure,
Mhm.
what are we?
Well, this is,
looking at?
Susan didn't break down figures for me yet, because it all depends on what their assessed value. If, like I said, if they're over 100,000, it may be $100 per, how they figure everything out with the assessments. So I have to get a figure broke down from Susan. She
Okay.
has everything up there she'll provide to me.
So to balance this budget, where are you projecting right now?
We have a tax increase of 1.25.
1.25 to balance,
To balance, to break even.
Correct.
to balance.
So in other words, if we want a cushion, it's gonna have to be a little bit more than that. Talk about the garbage rate?
Yes.
Can I just say something?
Sure.
Whenever the new council took over, we raised taxes because we said nothing has been raised in the borough and we needed to get some stuff done. You guys got a lot accomplished this year. With all the drama and infighting, a lot of it got lost. But you guys did a lot of work on this town. You got a lot of maintenance done. You got extra equipment for both the police department and your street department. And the tax raise, you did not increase any of the fines, fees, anything else that you were putting on the people for years and years. You did that, and you actually just decreased the garbage bill. Now, how you guys want to go about this is up to you. And I think it's good to note that, yes, we had a tax increase. You got a lot more done. And you're coming into this year, you didn't increase any fees. You actually lessened the garbage bill. You may have to cushion that and raise it to, now that you found out where that lies. But you've addressed a problem in the garbage bill. You should do that again this year. Just saying. Go on.
Speaking of the garbage, the contract, it is going up this year. So in order to absorb those fees that we have to pay the hauler, we have to raise garbage as well. So, we have to, yes,
So,
yes.
And where does that take that to?
So where the current contract is, we have to at least raise it to 175 from the 150. Because the discount right now is 150, we did this past year.
I wanted to,
how would it be if we, I'm gonna say the same thing that you're gonna say. How would it be if we did away with the discount completely?
I mean, they did that to raise money earlier, correct? It was
That
kinda
is
like the
correct, and
intent
I
of it.
have figures here.
Did that
we-
happen?
Yeah.
Well, she has the figures,
Yeah,
let's
I
see.
have figures that we brought in,
Brought in cash flows because we didn't get the tax anticipation note.
right, we did away, yeah,
But
we
you
didn't
gotta
have it
have
this
cash to
past
start.
year.
Did it improve the number of people that paid? Because at the end of the
It
day,
did with the drop.
It did?
Yeah.
Yeah, we actually have
When they went to
figures.
Charlotte in front of the magistrate, he improved the number to pay because he found
Yeah.
everybody who went in front of him.
Yeah. Yeah, we were up almost 200.
yeah, like I was wondering, just,
Yeah,
like I
yeah.
said, throwing
Maybe
things out.
more
If
than that now. I
if
don't
you
know.
got rid of the discount, would that help you?
Right, that's what
Well,
But
I'm.
if you're
I-
looking to get the money in earlier, that's
Yeah,
why you did that.
that's the problem. I'm getting too many complaints, especially with people on fixed incomes. They like the discounts and they want it more. And the suggestion that, I provided them, like everybody gets the discount and that way that brings us revenue in January. 'Cause there's a lot of people that prefer to just pay it right away and get it out of the way. So, and then you're gonna have your percentage that pays at the late fee of $300 plus court fees. And they rather make payments to the magistrate.
Yeah, that's what I said.
But
Whenever I
that's
looked at the
just-
numbers, it seemed to me over the last 3 years, the number of people that paid are the same.
Yes.
Right.
Like the number of
Yes.
people that didn't pay are the
Yes.
same. So adding that discounted rate, and I know it gets us money in earlier, but
When we
They're
had
still
a
gonna-
$340,000 surplus, we felt, and you were the instigator of getting.
yeah, looking into it.
Looking into
Yeah.
it, and our rates were high, we needed to cover our rates plus the cost of the stationery, the money we have to use in postage, and the cost of sanitation and clerk.
Absolutely.
But we shouldn't get too far over that.
Correct.
We were over it, okay, so we reduced it.
And now we end up under it.
Well, we were actually really not too much under it. We are under it, I looked at that. But you gotta remember, we raised this cost of the contract is costing us more
Right.
this year. We didn't do bad with our figures for last year, but
The
now
new
in the
one.
new budget, we gotta come up with more money.
Yeah, so-
That's the problem.
And yes, I believe Councilman Zack was correct, it was somewhere between $12,000 and $15,000. correct?
What's that?
Yes,
Terry?
no less than 12.
From,
Yeah.
compared from last year to this year?
Yeah,
What's the budget at?
the garbage.
The,
That's the new budget? Yeah.
it's the worksheet. That's what you have there. It's just the worksheet, yes.
Oh, I thought that was
Yep.
this year's numbers.
There's comparison on figures on the worksheet there. You can see everything from the years. I have figures that we brought in January with it being reduced, and we brought in $68,000 for January, and that was able to cover us, with payroll and, other bills that we had to
So
pay
the
out.
discounted rate is something that is
So
working for
it
us.
is, and it does work well because of that. That was just January's figure.
Gotcha.
Now, I do have figures that we actually have to incorporate, and this is what's sad, is our system does not separate from previous years. So some of these may be magistrate payments, that we receive from overtime that they could be paying from 2017. So this is just a figure that we took in. It doesn't mean it's all from 2019, but this is what we took in for January, so.
That should still reflect from the year before they did it the same way, so the numbers would be on the same.
Yes, around that, yes. Yep.
Okay. So the discounted rate is working, you're getting money earlier, which is
Yes.
helping.
Yes.
That's that idea.
How
Yeah.
much is,
See,
that was a
the
big
increase
increase
that
though.
they're passing
For
on.
20 years, they've always taken out
Probably had a note on this.
$100,000 tax.
No. It
That's what I
increases.
We
thought.
didn't have to do that.
Wait.
No, there's an increase.
That's
Fairly little, a couple
$135,000
grand
you
maybe?
don't have to come up
Was
with.
it
Yeah, it's a couple
173,
grand. I thought we wrote a
175,
note here.
177,
2,000?
something like
Yes.
that? Yeah.
Yes, yes.
So we're plenty of way and above
Yeah,
the
even
price of money to cover the
even at
contract.
the price we are now.
And we have no sanitation clerk, so how do you justify raising it?
We need to hire somebody,
Yeah,
like
we
soon.
want-
This
We
is
need
putting in
somebody
to hire
soon.
somebody.
And you're not
Yeah.
allowed
Still
to
can.
make money on that.
I don't know.
No, yeah, we have to
That's
get
up to
somebody
you.
in that position soon because garbage is going to be going out.
Right.
And with
And they have to
Marcia
be
only half a
trained.
day,
And they
I
have
mean,
to be
they have to be
trained.
trained.
But that's budgeted in this new one, right?
This, yes,
Yes.
absolutely, yes.
Well, that's what
But
we're
that-
saying.
That position is not a 40-hour-a-week, 52
No,
It is not,
position.
no, it's not. It's a part-time position.
And I think that's why she said breaking this down with the garbage man, it's gonna raise it $25, not like 50 or
Now, last
100.
year, we lost because of stamps
Right.
and the
$25
mailings
is
of
making money.
everything.
Yeah, when it's a second
And then
mailing,
there's
it's
legal.
a
Yes.
third mailing.
2,200
they-
people?
None of that was in there.
How many?
2,200?
No, 3,000,
17.
we have 3,676 bills that we print.
So if it's 25,000, what is that? $75,000.
Yeah, we're in violation because we'll be making money off of it.
Well, no, because that-
And you pointed that out yourself.
You're absolutely right, but this is to pay for a sanitation clerk out of that,
Well, they
and
don't
pay
make
for all the bills and everything.
$75,000.
Well, no, it's, we gotta pay the
Damn.
hauler though. You still have to, we have to pay the hauler quarterly, because we upfront the money to them.
Yeah.
So we have to pay them
Right, but you
every.
said it only equals $25 or...
No.
What is
We-
our
25,000,
collection rate?
what's
Yeah,
that
well,
work out to?
hold on.
$175,000.
175,000?
Yes,
That is the price of the hauler.
yeah.
Okay, and then on top of that, 175,000, you're looking at the price to send out the letters, the stationery, the person to put that together. That's what we're talking about. So overall, you might be over $200,000 here.
No.
No?
No.
$25,000
It's
isn't
not even
enough to
clean a
cover,
sanitation clerk, it ain't even gonna be $25,000.
to pay a sanitation clerk.
I mean, 17,000.
And then
Oh,
postage
okay.
and mailing.
Yeah, the
17.
postage.
And
is
the
what
postage and the
we figured
mailings.
in this year.
Is what you
Okay.
figured in. So
Yeah.
what did you figure,
17,000.
hold on, what did you figure for the clerk? How much?
17,000.
17,000, yeah.
Hold on,
Seventeen.
hang on.
And probably
Is that what
only
it says here?
50% of
Yeah,
that clerk's
okay,
time is used.
17,000 on top of 175,000 for the,
Yeah, it's 192, plus it ain't more than 8 grand for mailing.
Yeah, we have
do
17,000.
you have the mailings now? How much the mailing will cost?
I do have it written.
We're
Yeah,
still
it's
not
like
up to
3,000, it's 55 cents a stamp.
And we
It's 55
cannot
cents a
make
stamp,
money on
yeah.
that.
And that's, we do bulk when there's
We're in
landfill.
violation.
Yeah.
Hold
We do.
on 1 second. Let's figure out what it is exactly. We'll find out how much you are making, and is that
And then
allowed or
We
not?
have,
And
we have
another
$2,000 in postage for one mailing, and then the second mailing we do for
194,
the
Get that
seventh,
right
yeah.
on.
194 plus the second mailing,
196,
196,
run in 291.
and you're bringing in 291,000.
There's no reason to raise the cartridge.
No reason whatsoever.
We absolutely have to. We
Well,
can't
this is,
cover it.
that's raising it $25, correct?
No,
Yeah,
No.
Yeah,
50 to, for the discount,
For the, yeah.
is 50 to 175.
That's what she's saying. She's already raised it. 25 gets us to that point, correct?
Yeah.
We're running 291 this year.
Yeah.
That's the actual number, 291.
But that's not for this year, though. It
The-
could be for prior years.
Yeah, it's an increase this year.
That's the
There's an
thing.
increase in the hauler this year.
Mhm.
They
It's
came
only
in from the previous
$2,000, we
year.
just discussed that.
No,
Yeah,
it wasn't.
But that's
Yes,
the
it
thing,
is.
with
That's
these
the
figures that
contract.
we
I don't
bring
have
in,
another one. I did it.
No, it isn't.
Okay,
175.
everyone stop and let Terry tell us what she knows, and then we can all argue about it.
yeah, the end, I got the end of January, I already gave you that figure. The end of June for this year, our rates that we brought in from April to the end of June, this has to be wrong, it's only saying $1,200, that's not correct. Let me look at this figure here. $51,561 is what it's showing from April to June, and that was the face rate. And that was $250 that you guys had last year? Yes. Yes.
And what did Jason or Warren tell you?
Now, the wages for the clerk was 17,000, like Gibby had said. Materials is around 1,800 between the envelopes and then the stamps. And then the computer support that we're paying for the refuse, he added that in as well, because
Yeah, it's part of
that's
it.
$1,000, you know. And then the fee that we have for the contract. And then he's saying that at least we have to do an increase, you know, because of the program and all the other fees that we're incurring. So he's saying, Warren suggested raising it 4% or more. That when Jason and I did everything, all the figures, he said it had to have been more.
Well,
So,
you have to take into account.
and then you have magistrates, you know, everything involved for the time going down there that we have invested with Kenny going to hearings.
Yeah, you have to take everything into
But what's the
consideration.
number on there? Everything should have a number so you can do an accurate comparison.
Well, we don't have figures of what, I mean,
That's why you
sometimes the
do it.
hearings are 10 minutes. You know what I mean? But if he has 6 or 7 one day, I can't give you an actual breakdown.
Yeah, but you know what, though, if he has 0 hearings, or if he has 15 hearings,
Yeah.
Right.
he makes the same amount of money every day.
Yeah,
Right.
but we
So
pay
it's
out,
just like we
But
did-
it's coming
we
out
pay
of
out differently.
his, you know, his
because we
salary.
pay someone to go down there to do it, we
Right.
pay for our computer program to do it, pay for the letter to
No.
send for them to go once or twice, or
So-
not at all.
So the code enforcement has more than one wage?
No, but that's
So-
just it, the fees that we have involved in it.
There is
So
no
if the
fee. You're
code,
paying him, if he's
there's
here,
not.
or if you're paying.
Do we
him-
use a program to keep
She
track
just
of all
said it was
this?
$1,000.
Yeah, so we have to
computer
figure
support's
that.
$1,000.
What I'm
That's
saying is, you can't just take it,
197 still.
you can't just take that. This is going by them saying you should raise it 4%.
I don't
Debbie Grass
understand.
came in and said,
I don't
after she
understand how your
looked all
chance,
this,
your stance changed so much from last year, though. You said we shouldn't be making any money off garbage.
you shouldn't be.
If
You
you're
shouldn't make
making
excess,
even-
but you
even
shouldn't
more.
be, it
Cover
shouldn't be
your costs.
costing you either. You
Yes,
cover your
you have to
costs.
cover
So
your
you're
I
costs.
said that even back
so
then.
you're saying
I'm
the
saying
garbage
exactly what I
costs us
said
money
yesterday,
this year?
Councilman. This will not be taken out of context.
We're
I did not change my stance. My stance was, you need to look at how you do this, take everything into account, and not let the borough fall behind. That's what I said.
So
That's exactly what I
99,000
said.
plus is
If
falling
you want to
behind?
this year say that's too much, that's fine. But we'll review it the way it's supposed to be, and I am not out of context from what I was last year. It's the
Yeah,
exact same
exactly.
stance I had.
So we
You
shouldn't
look at
make
what
the
you
money
have,
anything.
and if
I'm
you're
confused
making
what
too
you're
much
saying
from it,
right
you
now.
need to review that. If you are not, then you need to increase that, one way or the
Well, What's
other.
that too much, I want to know, what's that figure?
That's what I'm asking the people who actually do it.
Well, I'm
Debbie
asking
Grass,
what you're
mine,
thinking, though.
what I think, you should have enough in there to cover all of your costs.
Okay.
Which include whatever new formula you want to use, or software, or anything. If you have to pay for any letters or stationery, any of that, you have to take all of that into account. You can't just go, well, it's a different fee for this. That's fine.
But you need
Take
an
into
accurate
account whatever
number.
you want, and not make it a money-generating mill, but to cover the bill, to cover what you're going to do.
But you need an accurate number to know what you're covering.
Whenever
We're
you
not
do a
getting
budget,
an accurate number right now.
You are absolutely right, and that's why I opened this meeting with saying, we came into this inheriting a lot of the problems from the past, and now we are finding, this is how much this actually costs. We've broken out different line items, it's not lumped into one. And if we're doing that with garbage from this year, we have nothing previous to go by. This year you do. and next year you'll have more to go
Yeah,
by.
no numbers to go by.
We have all of last year.
Apparently you didn't, because you were making $100 and some thousand extra, and no one threw a flag until I took the stance of, you can't make this a money-making proposition. You make it so you cover your cost. And if you have extra to make sure for something comes up.
And we're gonna raise it.
Not saying that, saying you guys need to
91,000 is okay.
take that into account and see where it lays.
Well, you
And if
need
I'm pointing it out to
accurate
you and you
numbers to
think
do that.
that's me making money for the borough, it's not.
You need
That's to
accurate
make sure
numbers
you're
to do
covered.
that. You need accurate
Got it.
numbers to do
I
that.
have
She has
figures
the
that
numbers.
have-
If
we
you
have
could-
estimated.
These are the estimated numbers you have.
If you
How
could
much
say,
budget?
if you could say I need an extra 75,000, you need to show me what is costing $75,000.
They're not making this.
And a clerk only uses about 50% of their time on that
Doesn't
garbage.
matter,
No,
she's there.
she's-
The
She's
rest
there,
of
she's
it,
still has to be
the
there.
rest of it is borough business.
But she
No.
still has to be
She
paid.
has to be
And we're
updating the
dumping it on
system.
the guy that pays his
It's been going
garbage
on for
bill.
years, and
That's
now all
how
of a
it's
sudden
been.
you can come here and grandstand, oh, we're trying to save all this money. You made money for years and years. All the years you were on there, you made money. Then last year you cut the rate,
We
and now she's
corrected
telling
it,
you you
uh,
didn't make enough money to cover
We
your
hold on,
corrected that
we
Shut
last
up.
year.
Did we lose money on garbage?
Now
Yes.
you're gonna go backwards.
Yes,
In the start, I mean, we took the loss of not getting the
After all year,
discounts.
did we lose money on
Yes.
garbage?
I don't have actual figures, because we
Well,
still have
right
people
here.
paying for the
See,
magistrates.
we're dealing with.
Okay.
What's
So,
the
and
actual
that's
numbers
payments.
right now, though?
Could I have
Year
the
to date, how much
full
money did we
number?
make on garbage?
it
I
didn't
have it in the
come-
budget
All
right
right.
here.
Hold on.
Right here,
The
Terry.
question was posed, let her answer.
Okay, because I can give you the figures are right there under
Right, that's what
sanitation.
Yeah,
I
it's
know,
right here, that's what I'm
everybody's
going
gonna
to.
be confused, so let's hear it
Yeah,
say
so
what.
let's hear
What did
Terry
we
say
make
it.
year to date on garbage?
One second.
It'll tell you if you measure expenditures.
I'm still in revenue, bear with me here.
Sorry.
Sanitation.
Here. Right here under sanitation.
Refuse contractor,
Hold on.
This is enough.
Contract $200,000.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, we brought in $348,000. My number was way off.
well, but that could be prior
From
years.
prior years, where
That's the
people
thing.
paid costs and fines
Yeah.
from previously magistrate
It's-
things.
because
Yeah, you
Not
have
correcting
that.
them out.
There was
Let her
no
go-
way that number was
She has
50,
that.
there ain't no way it's 50 grand.
Do we ledger what's collected
Yes.
from delinquent years
We
separately?
sure better.
from this-
That's the, with this system, it doesn't break down, that's
So,
my
Doesn't
biggest
break it
so
down.
the
complaint
issue
with this
is,
system.
just so I think, so council understand,
Mhm.
the issue is you could have past years of delinquency.
Right,
Yes.
it's getting applied to this money
It's
this
not
year.
even-
And you think it's $50,000?
It could be.
It's up there.
It could be,
Because,
based on what the
yeah.
big
So
one
there's
could be.
7,000 delinquent here, that's
Yeah.
delinquent from
If
this
we
year.
had that, there would be a
That is
record.
delinquent from prior
Yeah,
years,
that's
it
prior
could be
years.
any year, it could
Okay,
be
it could be
2009,
anytime at
it
all.
could be,
But
it
that's
could be
still
this year.
delinquent sanitation fees collected.
7,900.
Running $348,000.
What did
Jason
Daly and Warren recommend that you make that rate? What did they recommend?
Warren recommended raising it 4% because
So what do you, what did that come out to be? Just say the rate.
$156 for the discount,
Okay,
208 for the face,
Face
and then
value.
300 for the penalty.
and does that cover the cost of what we have?
This is what he's covering, the cost,
Okay,
yes.
he covers it, and that should cut us in, if we
Yes.
make the, we cover all the expenses.
And that's
Yes.
raising it how much from this year?
It's $6 for your
$6.
discount. It's
Because
$6.
150.
That's,
And I thought, wasn't 250 the face rate this year?
No.
The 200?
no.
I thought it was 250 and then it went to
Yeah.
300. I
250.
thought so.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's raising
So,
it.
So
Okay.
4% equals $6,
$6 on the discount.
$156. Where in the sky did $175 fall out of that I missed?
Because of the fact that there's other fees that we're looking at, and we're afraid because if the computer system goes up, there's other factors that he said, let's just cover our costs. If stamps would go up, this is where we fall into
To put
getting
you
more.
into,
Right,
this
yeah.
could cover us.
Stamps go up to $5
Remember,
a
it's
piece.
just mailing, and mailing
This is
goes
a
forever.
budget.
Those numbers are
Budget is just
ridiculous.
an estimate of what you're gonna spend.
Those numbers
Jason's
are
saying
ridiculous.
Hey, you're
175.
saying that, you gotta remember, I know you're just thinking of a stamp, you're talking about certified mail
Right.
sometimes and a lot of things. I know some of the mailings,
Look, if one
It can
seventy-five
get pretty
is gonna
pricey.
get
But
us
you
in the
got
ballpark, then
Years,
that's
you
what it
got
has to
years
be.
and numbers, it's
That's
not
what it
gonna
has to
change
be.
that much.
It's gonna change that much because
No
we're
way.
that, yeah, you were that far off with your.
well,
other
right now,
budget.
you're looking at a
Let's
$6 increase? Is that what-
No.
How have you made
175.
$100,000, you said, you claimed we made $100 and some thousand dollars on garbage.
I
How was
didn't
you that
claim
far
that,
off?
you didn't hear those words out of my mouth. I'm telling you, you collected all that money all the years you sat on this council, and then last year suddenly you got a conscience. Ooh, because you were running for election. Ooh,
2 of them years you've been on council, so you've collected right with me.
I didn't know, no. Where's that ethics
Hey,
commission, buddy?
it doesn't matter
You're an
when you,
ass.
it doesn't matter when you caught it. When you caught it and corrected it is what matters.
I mean,
They
you
vote
passed
for it,
last
they
year's
vote for it,
budget, so
yeah.
you was right there too.
Oh, you're such a
Yeah.
jerk. Man, why don't you go home? What a fool you are. You want the
Okay.
world, I'm so glad the world
What
sees
happened
what you
4
want.
years ago or 5
Before you
years
could make
ago
money,
was-
like, now you
really
can.
need to
It's okay now.
look-
It's
Last
like
year.
even more now.
Listen,
yeah.
he
Not
said
100.
Oh, you're
gonna make 175,000.
I mean, looking in the past, arguing about the past.
Yeah,
doesn't
What
mean
happened
so
to
it's
set
good.
the rate.
What happened to making some
175.
cuts?
What the hell is wrong, man?
So are we
You
doing
can spend that money to make
250?
Yeah, hold on. Now we have a question. Now that we've all taken our jab at each other, everyone good?
Are we doing 250?
moving back to
At
business.
face value? Is this what we're sticking with that we did this year? Is 250
Yes.
for face? Okay.
And discount
Just
of
set the rate.
150?
And
No,
then
the
the other one was
discount's
the,
175.
No,
Yeah.
no,
The
that's
discount's
ridiculous.
175.
That's absurd.
No, it
And
isn't.
then 300 is going to be the penalty.
Right, right.
And that one
Set
is
the
that
rate.
the
Don't
difference
vote
in
no,
the-
vote no. We don't
That's the
vote
same,
there.
the only thing is
Wow, is that what the
$25
people that
difference.
voted for you get?
Yes,
$25
Here.
yes, they
Here you
get
are.
reality here.
Thank you. Here,
Not
I'm gonna just
ridiculous.
charge you
What's
some-
All right.
wrong with you people?
That's what
Okay.
they voted for you
They
for.
voted you out.
And they
they voted
voted
you out.
for you
Enough,
to give them
enough.
an
Let's move on to the
increase in
next
their
thing.
garbage
They
and
voted you
taxes.
out.
But they wanted an increase, so they
You know
asked
what?
for
No,
you.
Nobody wants an increase,
Oh,
but
yeah,
reality is
come on,
reality,
come
not
on.
la la
Come
land.
on, statistics or,
Okay, are you
Statistics,
saying
get
they're
out.
like
the
women
discount
of the
could be
night. Once you
160?
get them done, you can do whatever you want with them. A quote from Mark.
No, right now, it's
I think we
set
should
at the
stick with
$25
Alright,
difference.
set
The
the
rest
rate.
of them
Just
stay
to
the
cover,
same.
because I don't think Warren incorporated
Move on.
envelopes in that, and we just had to order a
Yeah,
bunch.
move on, raise them up.
And
I'll tell what I gotta do.
Cover.
I got stuff with.
Hold on,
the
let's make-
state-
let's
What
make
does
something
Ross
clear here.
Driver pay? You're
the
always
state-
comparing us to
state-
other.
Ross Draper's got 10,000 people
Oh,
with it. Shut
no,
up.
no, it doesn't work that way.
But guess what?
For every other
Were you
thing,
on
you can
council when they
compare
got
all these
rid of
other
big?
computers,
Were you on
right?
council when they got rid of big
And then the year before that was
sanitation,
a-
when they were the lowest, and
But it's
but they
back
threw
to
bigs
the-
out of here?
So-
Were you on
200.
council? Yeah,
They
you
Hold
were.
on.
They
So I'm
did.
saying,
Yeah, you
They
were.
did.
so you guys are discussing this, let's get something straight.
Right.
The first year it was $200.
All
We
right, then
brought it
set
up that
the
it
rate.
could
Let's
be in
move on.
excess.
What's going on now?
One second, I believe I was speaking.
Who cares?
I know you don't care, but I do, so I'm gonna have my word.
Yeah.
And my word is this, the first year before it was caught and discussed, it was $200. And then last year, we took it down, what was it, $50?
150,
Yeah.
yeah,
The
150.
$50 less. And now that we've looked at it again and start honing it in, they said for the one fee, we're gonna take it up $25.
Because we have to cover.
Just the one fee.
Well, the thing of it is.
Hold on,
that- yeah,
that, just,
the
that
one.
is what happened,
Okay.
correct?
Just the discount.
Okay.
The only
All
number,
right.
okay,
Our
then
garbage
we'll
bill
keep
went up.
going, we'll keep going.
No, you
Year
can
to
stop
date,
there.
we brought in 348,000.
Including past
How
years,
much was the refuge hauling contract for the year?
273.
For this year coming up.
Hold on,
You're right,
hold on.
we're gonna add to that.
I have a cheat sheet here, I'm sorry.
There you go.
The calling contract was
282.
282.
Plus
And then the cost,
17.
plus the cost involved with it that we didn't do before, which was not only the clerk, but all the certified letters and everything
That
else.
was always
And
done.
adding to it
It's
to make
always
sure
done.
that we are covered.
That was done.
It's always done.
It's in.
That's in there.
Been in.
With everything else, that's 17,000. Plus,
Okay.
and then your past years are in this one, that you're saying we took in 350, that could be from past years too. That's
It
what
could
you're
not
saying.
be though.
Yes, it could.
It could not be though, too. So you don't have that number.
It cannot
So
be.
you can't say
But
either
we
way.
get checks
It
monthly
could
from
be,
the
yeah, it could not be.
magistrates.
You can
He
check
gets
monthly.
They- we
You
have
go
them
check
up.
what
Yeah, we have
comes from
guys
the
who pay
magistrate.
for,
And if it
before
comes
we
from the
come for
magistrate,
$5
it's
a
a late
month.
fee.
So you're
You
gonna
know?
get a check every month.
If it's a
Right.
late fee.
Okay, so-
if it comes
And now
from
that we're setting the
magistrate,
playing field, just keep
We just
honing it
look at
in, doing it right.
What we received from the magistrate?
See, it's, in our system, it doesn't break that down.
None of that breaks
Because
Wait,
it gets
wait,
applied.
The magistrate collects the
The-
payment.
correct.
Forwards it to us.
They
So
take
it
their
would seem
fees
to
out
me
and
if
gives
we
us the
contact-
restitution.
Right, but if we contacted the magistrate's
Mhm.
office, find out what they transmitted to us,
For
But
that
they won't be able
month.
to tell you what year it came from.
Would they be
well,
able
we
to
would know
tell?
it's delinquent.
Would we
Yes.
know
Or
that?
anything from the magistrate is delinquent.
Yeah,
That's my
like-
point. 'cause
Okay,
we're not
that's my
tracking-
point.
No, but we're not tracking what actually.
Even know
comes
Okay,
in.
man,
exactly
it's
how
a
much
fact.
delinquent
So at least
money
we would
brought
know
in.
how much
Well,
delinquent,
yes.
we would know
Okay.
what year it came from.
Well, you wouldn't
Yeah.
know.
Our
but yeah,
system,
but-
We
I
need to-
talked to them to try to get it more
Get it more
specific.
specific.
Oh,
Yeah.
And the programmers have not done it.
You guys do realize the
The
fighting and
system that
everything
we
you're doing,
have will not
it
break it
necessarily
down.
isn't wrong. It's
What
how
do
you
you deal
figure
with
out how
funny
this stuff
numbers?
is
Well,
going wrong.
okay, she was told by the man we hired to help with the budget
Right.
that we should set that
Right,
fee.
and
There you go,
they
that's
did.
what I gotta say.
Yeah, he
That's what
said
she's
it, Debbie
doing.
Grass said it, they all said
Right,
it.
they
But
all
they
said
said
the fee.
increase
We
it,
paid people
and
to
you
do
guys
it.
are supposed to figure out how to do that.
Right.
And that's what you're doing.
Well, and that's what it has to
But-
be, put it
I
on
think
the
we fought them
agenda.
last
They said
year.
up the
Put
rate
it
Get
on the
hundred
agenda.
and fifty thousand, or
That's a
hundred
long
and
way from
fifty dollars. They wanted
175.
one
Yeah,
seventy-five
right.
last
This
year,
is not a
and we
big
fought them
increase,
for it.
but it's one of those,
And
you
we
guys
would
are
come up
figuring out where
short.
all this is.
You're not short, you made
Yeah,
money.
we are.
You're
The
not
hell
short
we're
on
not.
garbage?
We're short money.
No,
You're
you're always
130
short, Lynn, you can never get enough, right?
Well, you're $130,000 in the hole because of the shit you did last year.
Hey,
with
Hold on a
contractors.
second, let's straighten
Yeah,
that
you
out
are.
right now.
Let's straighten it
No,
out.
you're not.
We're 130,000 in debt?
Yes,
Or
we are.
Or we're 130,000 extra spent money?
No, we're in.
Which one is it?
We're in debt. 'cause
We're in
there's
debt.
So
some
we
that
have
are
no money in the
popping up.
bank now?
We're gonna.
There's money in the
there's
bank.
How
money
much
to
money's in
cover
the bank
revenues
right
for
now?
right now.
Well, we have that that loan for the cars still in there, so we can't
You can't
include
count that
that.
$100,000
Okay, but we could include
cars.
the liquid fuels that we didn't pull back in yet is how much?
Just
I
take
don't
that
have a figure.
You want me to tell you?
Just take it out.
We don't have it.
Yes.
What is it, $180,000 tax, the
Yes.
liquid fuels we
Yes.
have in there, so that goes in there.
Right, that's
That's
going
180
towards-
grand.
You still have all the bills of December.
How much
to
money
pay.
do we have in the bank right now, Terry?
There's like 200 and some thousand.
There you go.
Plus 180,000.
No.
So that puts us almost at 400,000 cash
Take
on
off.
hand.
100,000
What is
come
it?
out for the cars,
You gotta
right?
take out.
180,000
Come on,
liquid
Ed,
fuels.
You're
And
supposed
is
to
that
know
gonna
the
be in there?
numbers. Speak up.
96,000.
96,000 for the police cars.
Hey,
It's supposed to come in.
94,000.
does
Yeah.
liquid fuels go back in the general fund?
Supposed to be set aside for
180,000.
street department.
We use it all year, then we
restricted.
reimburse
It's
at the end of the year.
restricted.
We
Tell them that.
reimburse it
Restricted in what
into
it
the
can be
general
used
fund.
It's restricted on what it can be used for.
But
You
do
don't
we-
have that
We
money.
pay the wages all year,
No,
right?
It's restricted in what it can be used for.
5 categories it can be used
He's
for.
telling you.
We pay them all year, and then
No.
we reimburse ourselves 180,000. It goes back into the general fund.
no. It
It can
doesn't.
be used for streets.
It has to be used for streets.
Does it
It
go
can't
back
be,
into the general
No.
fund?
No, it can be used for a lot of things.
no.
Does it
Streets
go
and
back
sanitation.
into the general fund? It's a yes or no
Five
question.
different categories.
Absolutely.
Salaries, streetlights.
Right, you use it for.
5
restricted.
categories.
It's restricted.
That we pay all year, we
Oh
reimburse
my
ourselves for them
God.
at the end of the year.
We don't have the
Let it,
money.
stop.
So right now, that puts us at, we'll subtract 100, this is the 220, right?
Yeah.
300 grand cash on
Yeah,
hand.
you have salary.
Don't claim a
Hold
deficit.
on.
Oh, yeah, there
Don't
is
claim a
There is a
deficit.
Hold on.
deficit. Look at
Right
the
now,
budget.
Councilman Zackle is standing on the point that we have over $300,000 extra. If none of you agree with that, that's fine. We don't have to go to fist fights or anything else here. You let him have his speech, and
Good,
that's
move on.
it.
Let's go.
And
Let's go.
if I think that is not true, I can make my word and we're done.
Hey, let's
That's
go.
how this needs to start running, and we've done this for 2 years. No more.
That's it. Just move on, go on. You set the rates. If they vote for them, they vote for them. If they don't, they don't. Let's go. What's the next thing? This is the last time I gotta do this. Let's go.
Oh, no, you'll be doing it next month too.
I'll be doing it next month without you.
That's okay. Don't throw me with a
I'm
good
still
time.
waiting for that ethics commission to come after me, buddy.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, I'm waiting.
All right, so is
That's
that,
what
and you
threatened.
still got them papers you wrote up about it?
Yeah. You wrote up
Oh,
papers
no.
about me, Ed?
Oh, you don't
I'll
have them
leave you
anymore.
under the bus, Ed.
I know what you're talking
It's pathetic that you would
I'll
use
show
him.
you, I'll show you.
I
There.
know what you're talking about.
It's
either one of
pathetic
you.
that you use him.
I don't know what either one of you are talking about.
Okay, now the tax
Stop it.
increase that we
Stop
are
all
proposing
business.
of the 1.25, which would bring us at $162,913. And like, so when I received the assessment today, I don't have the actual figures because this was already done prior to receiving that today. But that's an approximate figure at 1.25 tax increase in order to balance this budget. We have the new non-uniform, the contract that we did with the raises in there, and a couple other things we had to absorb. So we had to put all that into consideration to do the tax increase.
Well, we should have a lot of cash on hand, because normally at this time, we always owed 130,000 tax.
For the tax anticipation.
Plus about $3,000 or $4,000, somewhere in that range. So we should have $134,000 more this year than we've had in prior years, because that was excellent, but we had 340,000 surplus last year. We gave the taxpayers back a lower garbage rate, and we didn't have to borrow money, because we had that much money on hand.
We had a surplus last year.
That was prudent budgeting and everything. I have a problem, I'm not the only one, I have a problem with this deficit. I think about people who.
Well, the deficit is showing because of, a lot of it was the salaries that we did with the back pay.
paid back pay.
I understand
All
that,
your
but you won't
money.
have that next year.
Right.
No.
Correct.
Right.
You won't have that next year.
Because
But
you
their
need more
salaries
money.
are going up.
But their
though.
They're gonna
salaries
have to
increase
increase
that
the
much.
salary.
Yeah, they're increasing, there's no
Yes.
doubt. No
Well,
doubt.
that was the contract that you made, and that was the way it is, so now, this is
Well,
what
wait,
we have to do.
that's what you used, right? The contract
Yes,
wages.
the current one for this year is the one we figured out in this budget for this year.
So I mean, the big
These are
deficit was
actual
paying them
figures.
whenever all that back pay came in. I can
Yes.
see
Well,
that.
it was
And then
very-
adding more for this year to cover what you're
But
going
we
to
still
have
have
to
that
pay.
much money on hand.
No, you don't.
We still have
I'm just
300,000.
addressing your concerns. And is that kind of what you were thinking?
There ain't no way you're
Part
gonna
of
spend
it
more than
is-
$300,000 next year. There's no way.
Well, that would be a wonderful thing,
That's
Noah.
not a true number.
And we'll actually have a budget that comes in great. If you are absolutely correct, Councilman Zackel, the next year, not only can you laugh that we were so wrong and we have so much money, but for once, you can get back on a stump and say, the borough is better for what we have done. But if this budget does not work out, then we'll hear from you again?
No.
I thought so. So let it lay.
If it does
We've already
or
taken
don't
into
work
account what
out,
you
you're
have
not gonna hear
said.
from me again.
It
But the
is what it
point
is.
is,
If we're that far over, we're
you're
going to be so
raising
good at the end of
garbage.
this coming year.
Now you're gonna raise taxes.
Yeah.
There's elderly people in the borough on fixed incomes who can't afford them.
You are
It
absolutely
ain't about
correct.
being on a stump, it's about doing right for everybody.
You are
can't
absolutely
afford to
right,
cover
and
our
trying to
expenses.
correct
Everybody.
all this across the board is exactly what we're doing. If it's by that, not adding more fees and fines and everything else that you did for years.
300,000 on cash in
It is an
December.
old way of doing things. We are looking at it different and breaking apart line items and trying to
You're
find
not
money
doing
where it's
anything different.
legitimate.
You're trying to
Not just
sugarcoat.
adding to a garbage bill, not just adding this, not just raising a
Where's the
tax,
numbers
but
that say
doing
you
it
need
right.
it? Where's it say that at?
Every
Right here in the
time,
budget.
every
Yeah.
time
Budget.
something comes up,
Look at the
someone says
budget.
we found a number.
The
You
new
don't
way-
agree
The
with
numbers
it,
are in
that's
front of
fine.
you.
The new way of doing things is doing it the way they did 25 years ago.
You never,
That's the new
you
way.
don't present a budget.
It's
in December.
reality,
That's
it's
the-
reality, look
Let's-
at the numbers, that's
let's
how much
do it
money
the
we
way they
need.
used to.
300,000
Dennis,
in the bank.
please,
Nobody
I
can say
don't
that's not
have
true.
another breath to waste on you.
Thank you.
I don't have
That's good. I'm
another
glad to
waste,
hear
but
that.
it's a waste of my
That
oxygen.
makes my night.
That's
Thank
what
you.
I'm doing next. I'm waiting on the tax
It'll make
increase
my
that we're
day
gonna do.
Okay.
No,
We know what day.
Yes, it'll make my day.
well, this is what I need to figure out,
Did.
exactly what we need to do
Hey,
with that.
borough business is being conducted. We don't need inside fighting every damn time we have a meeting. Stick to borough business.
Listen, I'm the lightning rod, I've always been for 2 years,
Fine.
and none of you have ever stood back and
Councilman
said
Bryce,
anything. I've been
Councilman
attacked
Bryce,
repeatedly.
it's fine, let it go. Gimme, let it go. Let it go, Gutierrez. Start talking about borough business only.
Well, we should have did that.
Talk about borough business only, and then you can take your fights outside. But right now, starting at this meeting, borough business only.
Well done, you're gonna have a heart attack.
I hope I do, and I hope you're the cause of it, because then on my gravestone I'll put, this
Hold on, is
stupid
this borough
councilman
business- hey,
can't talk about the
business
borough.
only. Borough business only.
You're right.
Borough business
You're
only.
absolutely
Come
right.
on now, come on.
All right,
Okay, now with the tax assessments that were done a few years ago, after reviewing everything, we've taken a hit with getting a reduction in our revenue with taxes, because the assessments really affected us. A lot of people's dropped over half. So, and there, other people have gone and appealed theirs and even dropped more. So this is where the tax increase, and we figured out, and if we do the increase, Susan has suggested the same thing as Ringgold taxes, do a payment plan, offer it, and only, no discounts. If you're gonna do a payment plan, say 2 or 3 payments like the school taxes, and that way that'll break it up. And we only are getting around 90% of tax people paying, and that's low.
You give them a chance to pay, make
Yes.
payments on it, you
Yes.
take a chance and then,
that sounds good,
Mhm.
but you need more, you're gonna need more enforcement, you're gonna need more clerk time, you're gonna need more letters and
That's
postage
Susan.
Well, that's
time.
Susan.
That's
Susan handles
That's
taxes.
nothing to do with us.
That's taxes.
She's
Right.
willing to
She's
take it on.
suggesting,
Right.
instead of doing
Yes.
a one lump sum, because the taxes she sends out in April, offer payments. So if they want to, they can't get the 2% discount, they have to pay the face value. And they have
And
till,
she's willing to do it.
is it end of August, I think, I think it's the end of August, you have to pay your I think, was it?
August 31st.
June is the discount, and I
Right.
believe end of August, and then it goes to,
Right.
you have till December 20 or 15th,
So-
whatever it is.
This was Susan's
She suggested,
recommendation.
yes.
And she's going to take care of all this.
Right.
This
She
adds
will do
no
this.
burden
This
to
is
the
taxes.
borough.
She will break down the payments, same
Okay.
thing that
Turn the
Ringgold
clocks back
uses.
25 years.
I'll tell you what I'm worried about. I'm worried about spending shortfall of.
What fees may we have incurred during this?
But, I mean, Lisa will rather them pay than not, and then that way, if they,
If
don't
it's
have to make
something rather than
the
nothing.
prior year,
Right.
that we have to wait for the money, then that way
Like
it'll
down for
bring
you,
us.
wow, what incentive do I have to pay it full? I'm gonna call her up and say, hey, I wanna be on the payment plan. He's gonna call and say, and I pay mine full. So
Right.
that's what he's saying, is your cash flow's not gonna come in as much.
I'm afraid of that. I
Because
couldn't
everybody's
do
gonna say,
that.
put me
I
on a
just think
plan, so
that'll-
you gotta-
that'll
Well, there's
hamstring
only
you
3
guys.
payments, but then you have to have it paid
You
before
have to pay the face amount, you
the
don't get the
face rate
discount.
that's due August 15th or
The
whenever.
three
it's
payments
due.
will be paid before
Yeah.
you
It
hit
works
that
for the school
deadline.
tax,
Yeah.
John. It's working for the school tax.
Yeah.
Oh, we have a model for this?
Yeah,
with
we
the school tax?
Yeah,
already
school
started
does it.
doing it for the school
They
tax.
do it, yeah, they do it.
Yeah, you have
the
on the
last
bottom.
three-
Right.
Bottom
Yeah,
portion.
on the
No,
bottom
I-
it says,
most
yeah.
everybody
Pay by
pays
March,
straight.
pay by
There's
April,
not that
pay by
many people
June.
paying.
I always
Except
think
there's
that
a
too,
lot of
every time
people.
you bring this stuff up, it's to entice people who aren't,
You aren't able to pay it at
yeah,
once.
because we have the same people that pay,
Right.
the same people that don't, the same people that never will. It's always
Right.
the same numbers. That's what I reviewed with the garbage. It's
But I'm
kind of the
saying
same
now,
number.
If my taxes are
If this-
$1,000,
yeah.
I can make 3 payments.
So
of
this is to
three
entice the
something,
people
which is
who've never
rather than
paid,
come
Yeah,
up
but
with
it's the last
$1,000.
3 months of the year. It isn't like first quarter, second quarter.
No, it's
third
all
quarter.
before the end of August.
It has to
It's
be the
all
end of
before the
August.
end of-
So
It's all
yeah.
before you would
Right.
get that
Yeah.
2% discount.
Your 2% is due by June, and then it goes
If
into
you
the
wait
face
till June
rate.
and give them the whole
And then the
month.
rest is,
And then you-
if you make the payment, the
You lose
first
the
payment,
2%.
you
That's-
lose 2%.
If,
Yes.
right.
Because you're on a
If you
payment.
choose
You're on
the
a
payment
payment
plan.
plan.
So
not
that,
gonna get it done
that
by-
kind of does make sense, because most
Yes.
people who do pay, you pay that 1%,
Right.
you pay as
Right.
long as you go.
I'm just afraid you're gonna hamstring
Yeah.
yourself.
No.
I mean, you're not,
Okay, yeah.
no,
Because-
you're not gonna have the money coming in when you need it. You're
Well,
gonna
no,
be
because
short.
if they wait till the end of the day, like
It's the
August
same
31st to
thing.
pay it in full, but at least if they start paying us in June, then that gives us increments.
Right.
Yeah, and it's
Of
not getting
revenue.
people that
Yeah,
aren't
but then
paying
we
before.
do without the money all the way up to the last day.
Yeah.
We don't get any money January through June.
Mm-hmm.
We don't get any tax money.
Nah, you get money in May, because I
Very
pay mine in May.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, you
Very
get
little.
some, but the majority,
Yeah,
the majority
it's
is that.
discount.
But now,
Majority.
if you want to give 3 payments, we are going to receive money. We're going to get 1/3, 1/3, 1/3.
I like the fact that there's a model of this already.
Yes.
Right,
It's
and
happening
it
with
is.
this
And
school.
it's work, and it's work.
And it's work.
What frightens me is, remember when we reduced the garbage just by 1 month, and we shortfalled ourselves?
So, we went to
Garbage.
May, it's 2 months. We went to the end of
Two
May.
months.
Oh,
It was a
was
one.
it
Yeah,
2 months?
because March-
And we were in trouble.
Well, we're going to be,
Yeah.
but payments,
Yeah.
we're going to be receiving money
Yes.
earlier.
Yes, it'll be increments.
Okay, because
We
they have to
have
start
cash
making
on
the
hand
payments
through the year,
before
you
that
use
June
it all.
30th deadline.
Mhm.
So you're going to get payments,
Yeah, you-
Yeah, but you're only gonna get 1/3 of the payment.
but you're going to
due.
get
But
all
you're
of it
still
before
gonna
June.
get- Right, you're
Yeah.
gonna get it all
It's still
before-
all coming in before
I
June.
think, here's the thing, I'll be honest with you, it could very well work. It could very well blow up in your face.
I think it's just about everything, but we have a model of it, which is
Yeah.
something we
Right.
usually don't have.
Listen,
Right.
regardless, we don't get that tax money until the end of the majority, until the deadline.
Right.
So this way you'll at least get some extra money coming in, and we still end up with the same place. All the money's gotta be paid by June 30th, whether you pay it in payments or whether you pay it in full. That's it.
That's true.
It's
June
still
or
in
August?
there.
June or
Or
August?
June.
It's,
Well,
August is the face, June is the discount.
Right.
Yeah.
So you can pay it by August.
And it's so
So, I
much
mean, but
easier.
those
yeah.
dates are still hardcore.
Yes.
And as I
It's
said,
easier
the
to come
the
up with-
numbers will remain the same there. You're trying to entice other people that
Right.
usually have a hard time with it.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
So, I
easier
mean,
to
it does-
come up
it
with
does kinda make
$100
sense.
rather
It
than
does.
$300.
Yeah, if it doesn't, at least we have a
Doesn't,
model,
we
they're
tried.
doing it
At
somewhere.
least we've tried.
That's always good. All right.
So are we okay with the 1.25 increase?
Did
I mean,
they
that we
say
can do
we
that?
have to do that?
With, yes,
Okay,
with
right.
the
All right.
payment
Put it
plan?
on there. I don't wanna
Or the-
do it, nobody wants to do it,
No.
but if it has to be done, it has to be done.
And that's with the payment,
plan.
With the
with the
payment
payment
plan?
plan?
With the
What would be
payment
the
plan, I
basic
said
payment
that
plan?
was, she'll have to come up with it.
Susan will come up with that, and then
Okay.
she'll
Good.
figure out the
Alright.
percentage of how Ringo does it.
I like the fact
Same
that
way.
Susan,
Said she would do
Proactive
that.
and all.
Right,
Absolutely.
exactly.
Yes, yes.
But she also suggested in previous years that if we would have just raised taxes half a mil, half a mil, half a mil, the whole time.
We would have kept up a little
We'd eventually be where we, you know, where.
well, there's always that conflict
Right.
between raising taxes.
Yeah,
and-
I understand that, but if
They
it would have
gotta
been a lot easier if it was just a half
be.
every year.
Looking back, yeah, but if we
That's
had a
what she
surplus,
told,
they would
well,
have said different.
that's what she told me, so
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Mhm. Okay.
The Ringgold raises taxes every year. Sewage authority raises rates.
Every year.
We're not getting them sewage right this year.
Was there anything
We're
else?
not.
Not this year.
Not this year.
No.
Not with that, I mean, that was pretty much it. I took care of the garbage, took care of taxes, and like I said, we'll discuss the,
Do you need a rub down or anything, Terry? You all right? Shoulders all tight? All right,
yeah, okay.
okay. Where are we now?
Okay. So the Mon Valley Alliance, the Council of Government is basically ending. And I had to, yes, they basically resolved everything. So they said that we have to send a resolution in to not participate anymore. It's just something that we have to do is to end participation.
Now, didn't we actually, Steve, correct me, didn't we actually draft a resolution?
Yes.
We did,
Do we
to
have
join,
to take
to
action
join.
to
Rescind it.
rescind that
I have to,
resolution?
yeah, they gave me a sample.
I did this recently, a few months ago in Charlotte, when we first heard about Collins with the Alliance. They did a separate resolution, just rescinding the resolution of joining. So I think we can do it that way.
Yeah, they gave me a
The
sample.
Alliance.
A simple motion?
You understand?
Yeah.
They gave me a sample just to use, so just a
Just a
resolution.
simple motion,
It's
or
a
is it-
resolution.
it's a resolution?
Yes.
It's resolution.
Mhm.
Well, I've always heard
This is
that.
substantially the same as
Okay.
the other one.
Okay.
That's-
Use that.
Were there any cost incurred from the borough for
No, we
this?
got to join free for the first year.
So there was no cost?
Right.
There would have been
Nothing?
this year.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
read
this
it.
year
And
we
our two officials that were supposed to go, did you guys attend whatever meetings they were supposed to
Yeah, we
go?
went to a lot of meetings, and then
And
they,
it just started folding?
they just never called anymore.
Okay.
Usually one of three communities that went to the
Yeah.
last one, wasn't it?
I know, I read that, we were only, that's why I wanted to bring it up. That's,
Yeah,
thank you.
We were at every meeting they had.
You at least went to hear what wasn't being said.
What wasn't gonna happen, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah, well, we had that idea from the start, that that was gonna happen, but they proved us right.
Well, at least we held up our end.
That's all you
We
can
can
do.
hold our head up high, we did our
All you can do.
our due diligence.
Okay, so that's,
Okay. Okay. All right, and we received the resignation letter for Yancy Taylor from the sewage board.
okay.
I do have that, and I had quite a few interest in, I have phone calls and a couple people stopping in for, they want to basically have interest in going on the board. They wanted to know when we were going to start accepting their letters of interest. So
Okay,
that's
would
something.
we put that in the newspaper and advertise it for accepting, or do you want to just do it?
That'll-
Can we do it on the
We'll do it at the
website?
meeting.
We have to
We'll do
approve it, we have to accept it first.
Accept that
Yeah.
meeting first.
At the meeting.
Right.
And then we have
No.
to
Announcement.
Well,
That's
stop.
not the process. What we should do is this. The sewage authority already accepted the resignation.
Mhm.
What we need to do is declare the seat vacant, which will allow us then to receive
So
letters.
we don't have
Then
to
make
accept the
complaint.
resignation
No,
at
he's
all?
already resigned.
He's
Okay.
resigned.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we have to declare the seat vacant.
The district
Okay.
attorney had explained to me, they actually called me, and they had explained to me that the borough has to accept it.
His resignation.
In minutes, and then, because that was their order for him to resign from the board.
Because we appointed him, we
Yeah.
must accept the resignation.
And like, so they said that they ordered him to resign as
Well,
If you want to do that and note it in
It won't be
minutes,
wrong if
you
we do
can.
it.
Okay.
There's
Well,
nothing
do it that
wrong
way.
with doing
The
it, do it.
important piece is,
Okay.
you declare the seat
Here-
vacant so you could appoint.
Here's my next question, because we've already had people saying they
Yes.
want
You
to.
can't appoint it if it's not vacant.
Correct.
They have,
One
they
second.
need to get the
One
letters.
second. One
Yes,
second. Having said that, we're going to accept the resignation.
yes.
Then you do the 90-day
Declare
letter,
the seat
declare the
vacant.
seat vacant. We're past that now.
Yes.
Whenever it goes into, we have so many people that have already put this in, should we have them do it again, or does it matter? Like, we
We're
can
accepting
use
letters.
those?
We only have one that brought it.
That's
Do
it.
you know what I'm saying?
But
Did
I've
he
had
jump the
several
gun?
phone
Do we have
calls.
to, do you have to announce it first for them to say, or you can have something on
They do
file?
have to make
You
them.
have to announce
You
it.
Do we have-
say it?
You can point anybody you want.
Do we have to
There's
accept
nothing written that says you gotta do anything.
just letters,
Point
or do
right now,
we
if you
want.
advertise this position
No.
in the
You're
newspaper?
both speaking at the same time.
Thank you. Thank you. Go ahead, John.
All right, do we have to advertise this in the newspaper, or can we just accept letters for a building? Just have it in the
Do
news
both.
media and on our
We do
website?
both. I mean, public will be on notice next week when we
Right.
have a motion to accept, I guess the way we can phrase it, if you want to incorporate what the DA's recommendation was. You could now say recommendation, not requirement. What you could do is have a motion to accept, motion to vacate, motion to advertise, or receive letters of interest.
Mhm. Yeah,
And at that point, since we have one gentleman or person,
Yes.
is it woman or?
it was a gentleman.
Okay, one person interested, should we contact them and say, hey, you kind of jumped the gun, you have to wait till after the meeting whenever all this is taking place, or is that still valid? I don't want to get someone in a jam with it, I'm asking. It doesn't matter?
Yeah, you can treat that as, I mean, it's a letter of interest. Let's
Okay,
say-
I didn't know if it was going to be one of those things, whenever it happened,
Yeah.
we'll just say, from past practices here, I want to make sure everything's right with everybody who puts it in. They get the same nod no matter what. If they're supposed to do it a different way, how is that process? So that's okay, that can stay in.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
The next thing is the final bill for the Donora Place Plan Sewer Extension. They're just small invoices that I need to pay to Gannett Fleming, and we'll put that on for next week. And the amounts were very minimal, they were $251, and the other, it'll come out of the sewer fund as well, is $446.27, so it's a lot less than what we've been paying. So this is the last of it, the job is complete. And then there's an engineering cost, which comes from the LSA of $78.30.
The job is complete?
The job is complete, yes, yes. Yep. So that is done, so that'll be on. The other item, Mike isn't here tonight, they actually had a walkthrough at Reed Hall. So he wanted to know what we're gonna do with military banners. He said that there was talk in the spring, don't quote me because he's not here, I think that's what he told me, that he was going to leave them up, or should he take them down? He said that was something the council discussed about leaving them up, and he just wanted to get
Yeah.
the directive of what to do.
Don't they get awful lot of snow and ice and wind?
They're
I think
already-
they'll get-
they're
they'll get-
horrible.
They're already
horrible now.
deteriorating now.
They're
Said the
tearing,
plastic.
they're
And
ripping
they're-
in the
they're
wind.
dropping.
Yeah.
Some of them are
I'm
dropping
afraid
down.
if we leave them up, maybe there won't be hardly anything left.
Menneson leaves theirs up,
Oh,
and
you're-
they don't seem to
Shelroy
have-
leaves theirs up, they're
Right.
all
But
totally
ours are
faded.
double,
Right.
not, listen.
If it gets to that point,
Those
you
are
know.
single. These are like double, so you kind of like have this air gap in there where the wind rips into these two, but we have a front banner and a back banner, and on the tubes. So it actually causes more harm that is double, than it's just a single.
Yeah, and you have to remember too, no one else is policing this up, so once they get to that point, they're so faded or broken, they're not going back
They're not
up.
gonna restore them. Okay, so if, like, the whole problem with the banner system is that the street department had a hard time making their request. I mean, if they take them down and they put as many that are decent back up, you know, without placing, just do it downtown area as much as you can. I mean, I'm all for it, if the guys have the time.
And it took a total of 3 days this year for them to put all those up.
And it took 2 weeks in the past.
Correct, and this was because they just said, as they come off the truck,
I
they're
mean,
going on a pole.
If it's possible for Donora to fit that into their schedule and save as many of those banners as they can, I'm all for that.
Well, is it possible that we could offer the people that wanted to save them, if we're gonna leave them up, if they wanted to take them and just put them up in the spring and take their own personal banner and then
They
put
could
it
take
up?
them now. If you bought it, you own it.
I had thought about this, do we really want to tell people it's okay to climb up on a pole and put this up?
No, they'd have to do it somewhere at their house, not on
Well,
the pole.
if you want to take it home, yeah, but I mean,
There's a couple
we had better be
residents that have
cautious
them.
here, someone's going to climb a pole with an aluminum ladder.
I've seen.
I know it's gonna happen.
No, I'm just saying, now people, there are certain people like Tommy Thompson, he leaves his daughters.
Yeah.
He puts it up himself.
You wanna put it
he
on your
takes
porch?
down.
This is what
That's what he
Trova-
does.
this is what
I'm
Trova
saying-
has
I'm
hers.
right. She's
Mine
a-
on my
I like to
porch
get mine with the
now.
mouth.
Now,
Yeah.
if you, if, like, check with Mike and see, if I say that if we can get them down,
Okay.
get them
No
down.
respect
Okay.
for the military.
Yeah, that seems like a good idea. If you can get them down, and then you were going to say, if people want to come
If
down,
So
you
if
wanna
we want
come
them, who
and
do we
get-
gonna call, who do they contact?
Probably Mikey, wherever he stores them. Where
If
does he
you
store
want
them?
to well,
You
he
wanna
keeps
take your
them,
family
We're
members?
still at the school.
since they were in the school at one
No,
time.
I mean, like if
Yeah, that's what we're saying.
I
If
have a
you-
banner up.
Yeah,
we
you
like,
could,
oh.
you'll have to ask them. and
Yeah,
then when
ask
they
Mikey
take
and he'll pull it
down-
out for you and say, come
Yeah.
up on Tuesday and pick up your banner.
Yeah, that's fine. But like I said, they were up at the church for a while, but with all the mold in there, he can't put them in there.
Right.
And then, so he was going to put them
That
back
might
up in
help
the
us
school.
out too. That might help us out a lot. I bet you a lot of families would rather have it in their yard. And we would still have enough to fill McCain and probably Mel, because right now we're going up Walnut,
Right.
Chestnut,
Yes.
and parts of Thompson. We could keep,
I mean, it was one thing when you got.
And you'll
you
take
got to
care of
pick
your banner.
spot.
Mhm.
But now that we don't, that nobody gets to pick their spot, and it just goes up anywhere, I would rather have mine in my house.
here's the thing Stan used,
By
was
my
on my
house.
porch the other day.
Yeah.
But my home?
He was at the diner and on my
Well,
porch.
and
One
and
side of
also
him was at
we
the
can
diner,
make
the
an
other was at the
announcement that the banners are gonna be brought down, and there's
Yeah,
a
you
right
want
thing.
one?
And if you have you know, if you would like to have your banner, and
For
use
your-
it for yourself, please make contact with the, you know, what do you wanna say, borough?
Well, have to be the
Just
borough.
make a list of names.
Okay.
Do you
We're
think,
not gonna,
Borough building,
yeah,
call the borough
yeah, we're not gonna
building.
go out of
Yeah.
our way for Mike, he's not gonna deliver them,
Right.
or nothing like
I
that.
mean, there are a
They'll
lot
have
of
to
people
come
out
to
of
the
state
do you think it
too.
would behoove us,
Right,
we gave
right.
them a letter or something with it that said this must be displayed on your private property, you cannot display this on public poles or anything like that?
Probably.
I just see someone climbing a pole to do it. I just
Yeah,
don't
No,
do it.
no,
Puts it
there's
on a
not
pole.
that much interest in, you know, the people,
All right.
the older people who have came in and bought their
Just want it for their
grandfather's
porch
building,
and
they're not
their
coming back.
flagpoles,
They're
that's
not.
fine.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think that's a
they'll-
better idea, they'll take better care of it.
Right.
They'll take it in bad weather and all that, keep it in all winter.
Is that it?
The other thing, it's not added on, I got a phone call late in the day today. Ed actually spoke with a gentleman that works on grant research and writing, and he had wanted to speak to council. Nick, did you
Yeah.
speak with him at a dinner or something he had mentioned?
Yes.
So he wanted, I think, is it Avanti or Avanti? or
That's his
something?
company name.
Okay, yes.
Barraza's his
He,
name.
yeah, he wanted to speak to council about what he does and what he can offer the borough. So that was just
Does
something.
he charge this, does he have a fee that he charges? or-
It's usually like 10%,
We
ain't it, or something
negotiate.
like
I
He
don't
wants to
know.
give a presentation. next
Yeah,
week.
he wanted to bring a presentation, but I told him right now, there's a lot going on with the budget. I don't know if council's gonna wanna decide this right now.
Next
If
year.
you guys wanna wait till January, like I said, I completely get it, because, you know, with everything, with
Right.
the important stuff at the end of the year that needs to be,
Mhm.
and I don't know, it's up to you guys, whatever you wanna do. I told him I would let him know
Well, I
tomorrow.
think the new council ought to hear it,
Right,
because
okay.
they're gonna be the ones who'll be dealing with it.
Okay.
It's good to bring it up now, start
Yep,
digesting it.
that's fine.
New year.
All right, I'll tell him January. Okay, and then the other gentleman is an engineer, he's doing some work down in the Maida industrial plant. He asked if we were looking for another engineer, who our current one was. He wanted to speak to us as well as with his service, he's local, he's West Newton. So I think that should wait till January as well?
I'll
Next
come back
year.
to.
Okay, okay, that works, okay.
We still in new business?
You can fire away.
Are you
I'm
done?
done.
I had a couple things, a couple people came to me, the Elks, we kind of discussed it just briefly. There's a gentleman who purchased the Elks building, and he's going to be doing some woodworking and opening a business there, which is great. Also across, where's that at? What would that be? 500 block of McCain, there's another business, I guess they've been down talking to Code about what they need to do to get going. It's going to be a clothing business opening there. But
Right across the street.
the old, not the bakery, right next door, what was that, the hair salon?
I see them cleaning it out.
Yeah, they
Next to
did
the
a lot of
bank.
work in it, and it's going to be
Well, it
a
used to be a hair
boutique of some
salon.
sort.
Yeah, right.
I'll
Chili's
get,
was in there.
she stopped in a few times, and she stopped down now talking to Kenny about what she needs and everything. So there's 2 more businesses coming in. So that brings our total within the last 2 years of 8, but in the last year of 6, which is great, and that's wonderful. And I want to remind all of you that these are new business people who aren't from Donora. So stop by and say hello to them. That's first. Secondly, one of the realtors that was instrument in doing all of this and reaching out to the woodworking place, he approached me and asked if we would be interested in giving him some information about some of our commercial properties that the borough owns, which is what we've always said we wanted to do. And I told him I would bring it before council. I think it's a wonderful idea, of course. And I said that at this point in the year, we're a little bit tied up with the budget and everything else going on. But I think in January, if we wanted to direct Terry or whatever to try to get that list together, we always said we would. We actually not only have interest, we have someone who's openly doing it,
What
which is something we
realtor
never
is
have.
it? What realtor is it?
To be honest with you, his name is Mike. I didn't get all of it. I said, all of your information needs to flow through the borough administrator. But I just talked to him and said it'd be great. And And it was, Mike, don't quote me, I'd hate to say the wrong realtor right now and then have him mad at me. But he was very open, and he introduced me to the guys that bought the Elks, and I said, I think it'd be great. And he even said I guess the way the realty business is now is they all kind of have open borders, I guess you can say, they can show each other's properties. And there's certain people that he talks to and has workings with, so it opens up a whole networking thing. So even though if it's a certain realty company that maybe there's other ones that'll be involved. And he's a go-getter. He proved it because he's got another business coming into town. So that's the one thing I wanted to bring up on a new business. And then last but not least, I just wanted to mention that Jason hasn't been here as much as I feel that we thought the contract said he would be. If we would want to maybe review this contract and see if we can get him here a little more. Terry is definitely in the fire, and we all know it. She's handling it well so far. I'm not here to begrudge anybody, nor say Jason's doing a bad job, but maybe we want his presence to be a little better known, especially in this time.
Should we basically figure what if he hasn't been here, adjust his salary?
Well, that's what I'm saying. If it's one of those things where we look at the contract, I would mention to council, you should probably let our solicitor look at the contract and contact him in the appropriate way. If there's something that needs addressed, maybe you could find out from him what to do, but I definitely think we need his presence more.
Well,
He hasn't
this was-
fulfilled his
this was
hours.
the main-
and he was
That's it. How do you go about it? You go about it
Yeah.
whatever way.
It's
Follow your
a-
solicitor's advice.
That might be a personnel issue though,
He's
maybe?
not Terry
been
for
here
these last month
Tuesday,
and a half.
Thursday.
Be a personnel
Came
issue
late.
maybe?
Done that
I agree.
here in January.
I agree. That's why I'm bringing it up. I haven't heard it mentioned. Maybe it wasn't known,
I
but it is
wasn't
now.
known. I didn't know anything about it. I thought he was still coming in.
That maybe he wasn't as here as
No,
much.
he has not been here, and
No.
I feel bad because Terry didn't get
I
that.
met with you guys, that was the last time he was here.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Solicitor, is this something that we should discuss right now of how to address? Could you reach out to him, or should we have Terry reach out to him?
First off, this is a contract for professional services. It's
Yeah,
not a
it is.
contract for employees.
Right.
We can discuss it here. I think I have sufficient information that I can work with our council president and make the appropriate calls and try to bring resolution to this. If there's something we need to follow up on further, we'll talk about an executive session next week.
Okay.
Okay. I forgot one thing about, I'm sorry, go
Oh,
ahead.
God.
Go ahead.
One more
Phone
thing.
calls or emails either, really.
I actually texted him on Monday about a question because I had that hearing. I did go to Washington to present to the LSA for the sewage project up on 2nd Street. We're having the issue with flooding. I did go up there and he wasn't able to go, so he had sent me, I gathered everything that I could possibly get, thanks to my
So she
husband
went
for,
with no,
Yep.
no,
yeah.
I wanted to
Mike,
mention that.
Mike did educate me.
How'd it go? You went up there?
I mean, from what I said, I don't know from other than what you had said earlier. Like I said, when I talked to Nathan, he did call me and he said, I heard you did well. So other than that, I don't know if it was approved, not approved, I don't know.
Here's the last thing with that. I really appreciate you doing that, and I know it was a spur of the moment.
Yes.
But, and now I think we have all of the emails back, good and all that. Never be afraid. I can just speak for the mayor's office, but I'm sure it will echo through council. Never be afraid, even if it's at a moment's notice, to throw it out there. Hey, this just came up, this is what I'm finding out, and we may need representation.
Right.
And we'll be there. But thank you to you and Mike for being that spur of the moment. Don't be afraid to throw it out at the last minute to us.
Absolutely.
Matter of fact, definitely throw it out
Okay, I
at the
will
last minute.
do.
Because if
I'll have
something
to
bad
see
goes
until
down,
next year.
they're gonna blame you. You know, at least you can say, I told you.
Terry, I won't be here,
Right,
obviously,
right.
next week,
Yeah.
but I went with Dennis several times, okay? So don't be afraid to ask a councilman.
Like I said,
Yeah.
this.
It was just-
I got a
you ran.
text that he's like, I'm sorry, something came up, there's an emergency, I can't go, can you go? That was like 3 hours for I had to be there.
Oh, wow. You
And
didn't have
I,
any time.
no, so
And this-
I was stuck, so I
This
was.
is part of that thing where
Yeah.
Jason
Thank
should
you
be
for
here
doing
keeping
that.
us abreast of this. That's why you have a borough administrator for day-to-day business to tell us what's coming up. None of us knew about this.
Yeah.
And it could have hurt this borough, and that's
So,
unexcusable.
We have one now.
What's that?
We have one now.
I did forget, I met with model cleaners today, the gentleman that's going to provide the uniforms to the street department, and he had everything picked out, he's going to size them up next week. The alternative was possibly getting part-timers. It's a minimal fee for the part-timers to get it. It's like $3 and some cents for the uniforms.
Well, I wanted to bring that up tonight.
Okay.
And I would really like to see the part-timers in uniform for a safety reason and for their own personal protection. I plan on making a motion next month to that effect.
You mean next week?
Next
Week?
meeting.
Okay, next
We ain't
week.
gonna do no good next month.
That's why I said,
So, hey,
that's why I
Not
said
too
that.
fast.
what would be the total, just for the public, because I think we all stand with, this is a safety issue, and our men should have it.
I
So
have
what
to
is the
get
total fee
specific-
so the public knows exactly what
I
we're
have to
doing?
get specific numbers from tomorrow, because
Okay.
this will reduce for what the full-timers have, because the more
Great.
you put on, the less the rates are.
Good. That makes
So,
a-
as of right now, like I said, it's minimal. They're getting 2 jackets, they're getting 11 shirts, 11 pants, and they'll repair them, they will put buttons on, if there's a hole in it, they replace them. So, I mean, they're very good, and they'll pick them up every week and have them
It's
laundered.
a great deal all the way
Very
around.
good.
Yes.
Thank you, Terry.
Sure.
Good job,
Yeah,
Terry.
so that's done. But I'll get exact figures, and I'll put those, I'll send you guys an email, just to let you know what the figures are.
Thank you.
Anything else under new business? Anything
There
else
was
under
one
new
other thing I was
Uh-huh.
thinking about.
Yes.
Monday, earlier this year, even last year, Mike brought us some quotes for leasing equipment.
Uh-huh.
Do we have any of those numbers left or no?
I don't have anything in my file with the numbers that Warren had used with
Yeah.
myself and Jason. I don't have anything specific like that.
I'm glad you brought that up. I wanted to ask council about that too, but maybe it should wait for the new one, because we got numbers from Bednar, we got numbers from Warren, we got numbers from Mikey, and now I think it might be a little clouded.
That back truck that come out of the sewer plant.
Yeah, and that was the other thing, there was things that can come out of different things. With new council come on board, maybe that's something they can really sink their teeth into and we can get it done quickly. But right now, there's so many different, I know the numbers that Mr. Bednar had and what Warren had were totally different.
Right.
And then Mikey brought something he had found, and Warren said that looks a little better, but then we had to change. So maybe we start from zero and let our new council get involved with it.
We were applying for a grant for that back truck.
Yeah, and that would come out of the sewer fund.
How did that work out? Did we get that?
I have not heard anything about that. Mike actually was working on that. We did apply. Was it, you mean the leaf back?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back and the chipper.
Yes, that was that's in the process. Warren has that started, and I had a meeting with Nathan last week, but I had gone over some other stuff. He just kind of got me up to par with everything else. So, but I will find out about that. I believe it's going through, so as far as I know. And like I said, Mike was supposed to get an update. He's actually meeting with Nathan next week, as a matter of fact, to go over some stuff, so.
Just so we get the information in on time. to
Yes,
apply
yeah.
for the grant.
Everything's applied, it's already in. Yeah, that's in already, so that's been done already.
Everybody wants to,
Any other new business? I think that's it, right?
anybody from the office?
No, I don't think we
Can they speak at
can.
work session?
No, not at a work session. No, not at a work session. Nope. Next week.
Okay.
Adjourned.
Thursday night. See you in a